They shout him, but Avuha D'Shmuel, Lama Lo Yikra B'Shmo. The father of Shmuel, why is he not called by his name? His name was Abba, I believe, like many other people. It doesn't say here. I think his name was Abba. Uh, uh, let's see if I can find that quickly. I'm gonna check on my phone. I'm gonna Google search it. Yeah, his name is Abba Bar Abba. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So why is he not? So uh, why is it called Avuha D'Shmuel? So evidently this I got it to hear about to learn made it away into Wikipedia. Where is it from? Taisus HaMaseches Kedushin, Davayin Gimel. Okay. Avuha D'Shmuel, Lama Lo Yikra B'Shmo. Amruki Avuha D'Shmuel Lach B'Tzchal Makom Rachok. He went to um, commercial activities to a faraway place. Yomim Matzoto Madis Achas. So the median woman found him. So he said, "Das of us who knew the language of the birds." And she wanted to seduce him. V'titei lo elef alofi kikar kesef. She'll give him thousands and thousands of silver talents. Amalo lama. And he said to her, why? Amarti Amalo, she said to him, Shamati, I heard, I guess for the birds. Kelila totally Ben, tonight you're going to conceive a child, Shloya Kamo B'chachma. You know, it's a child who nobody was like him in wisdom. When he heard this, halach b'kfitza balayla beiso. He went with some kfitza saderech. Okay. I don't know. He did. Let's see what he says here. It says that's the Shabbat says some Venus fast of us chol b'sura ugzeira balo lam halfos v'lichin also. The birds bring all news to the world. Shemai says ki opa shamayim yolichas hakol. Which normally we understand to be a metaphor, right? That don't say anything you don't want to be said be heard, because birds bring your voice. And but here it's taking it as meaning that no, birds bring the news to the world. Yishmas fos omrim b'shalayli b'avur d'shmo gava rabba kedisa kamon kenis after his dake close, and therefore she wanted to seduce him. Okay, but he went with Kitsa Saderech back home. We had and had relations with his wife, and he saw when she became pregnant. Vayosha with Darko Kitsa, and then he went back to wherever he had to be with the same Kitsa Saderech. The basin when this man came for a basin, he do kill his nunim. They said she must have been adulterous. Her husband has not been here for a while. We were basing Mukul and they brought her to basin and they whipped her. I wonder why that's what they did to her. I guess it was in Bavel, so they couldn't do much more. I don't know why. Why? The older Ben they crushed Shmuel. And she gave birth to a son, and his name was called Shmuel. And then the father came and testified that it was his child. Shmuel said, me? I knew when they whipped my mother. The Shmuel it says he knew he remembered things from his earliest youth, including his own brit milah. So I don't know if it brings it down here for the source, but there is such a source for that. Uh, he doesn't bring it down here. Uh, uh, um, our Roshi, they hit me on my head, but so it's Roshi. And they wounded my head when I was in my mother's womb. And the place where the whip hit, you can still see in my head today. So that's going to go with Shmuel. It was the true father. This is Racher, another version of the story. Abu D'Shmuel Azam Ma'arava. He went to Eretz Yisrael. Hashkachte Modisa Dava Yodas Bidlil Lishnot Ziparin, a median woman, don't know why she was there. So fat, who knew the language of the birds, came to him. Amar Leis Dakikli, have a latency, but he Himelach Kafar Kal Zuze. I'll give you such amount of money. Shandavas Yarda, Havas Yarda, nothing Mine Gavarava, because she knew that some great man would come in. Arik Mine, he fled from her. Bahadar Asa B'Shem, he came using the Shem Hashem, to do some, kosher magic. He came that night to his wife, his Dakakla, and had a relationship, but the other left again. So Bishtamas Milsa de Me'abra eventually became heard that she had become pregnant. I lost my place. Okay, there it is. Asila Beitina Akira, they came to base and they gave him Malchus. Amar Shmuel because of the ime in the stomach of my mom, my mother, a kufri shoy. I bent my head over. Then I totally short of koivli. And because I was afraid that the rod they use is going to come to me and is going to hit me. Kafre sheba crazy di may. So he bent over his head, in his mother's womb. Maybe they were trying to kill the fetus. Okay, not clear, right? I don't think so. But Mati Rei Shuta, and the head of the stick came to me. Okay. Like I said before, it seems like this is in the Kedushin. The name of the Yusharmi, but I don't know if it's actually in the Yusharmi. Brings it down here in the foot. It's also Gittin, and in the it's in the Chuvas HaGoyim. Let's see where I can find it. It doesn't have a Taisus here. Kedushin look at Kedushin. Yeah, he brings down the Yerushalmi, although I don't think it's actually Yerushalmi. It's only one line here. The Avuha D'Shmuel Shalach and Yisrael V'Yidei Shem V'Shimish V'Yidei Shmuel. The place of Kedushin Dayan Gimel Beis just says that line, that Shmuel's father came home and had a relationship with his mother by using the Shem Hashem. Okay, maybe that's of course named Shmuel, right? Shem, like they use the Shem to come home to give birth to him. Okay, in any event. Next, test. Nishal Rav. I don't know if this is actually Rav himself or some rabbi. But no, Rav Hai. Nishal Rav Hai. Rav Hai was asked. Rav Pappa. There's a very right. Nobody knows exactly where all these 10 Pappas are, right? Bar Pappa, Rav Pappa, Rakesh Bar Pappa, Sukkah Pappa, etc. Right? So these 10 Pappas, we mentioned the siyum. It says here, Messiah Prokim, interestingly, right? And finish even a parak. But then we only do a siyum if you finish a parak. Even I don't think we say the actual nusach when we finish a parak. Rav Pappa, they're all the children of Papa. V'yim echad, they have one father. Rabbi, many fathers. Simonim shomim b'tosh b'siti shmor ma perusho. I don't know what he means by that. Pasuk would say, "Braces Zion test Shoshem Amalekam Shapasuk Zen Nimazu Asar Bnei Rav Pappa." And that pasuk there was a remes to the 10 Bnei Rav Pappa. V'Zur Shosem Hai my Bishul Kumar Hechnis Kohen Ba'Asar Bnei Rav Pappa. How do they mention this pasuk? Very cheap. So Rabbi answered, "Latlam Bnei Rav Pappa Gaon." Interesting, calls Rav Pappa Gaon. That's because they had the yeshiva. It's called the Gaon. So they're not all the children of Rav Pappa Gaon Taminoshu Rav Hai. That's not the case. Kibinoshu Rav Pappa Abba Mar Nikra. And he's not mentioned among the 10. Unfortunately, Ksubas. The Niran, I think that's what he needs to say. Okay, so he says, V'nirei kibnei shnayim v'shloshaim. The children 2 or 3 Rav Pappas. Yeshish was saying, Ram now press the Malam Yigish above. There's some whose Kavarim you can see on the Euphrates River above the the bridge above them. Ukro name the Rav, their relatives Rav. Shama Shmuel min Rav Chisda. And because some of them quote things named Rav Chisda, he says over here, the second and third generation Amoraim, they quote Rav Chisda was the Talmud of Rav from the second generation. And Rav Pappa Gufa Leibos is Macho Chisda, Shabbat Tamida Shabbat Yabador Kamishi. It's much later. It's fifth generation. Kosh Keshabbat Leibos Macho Chisda. Lo Yechlu Shmuel Rav Chisda. So these are earlier children of a Papa. Rav Papa Gubalevizan. The siyum about Tosh B'Siti Shmuel Lo Shemana Mi'olam. I haven't heard that connection. I don't know what you're talking about. Abba Sarahim, but there's certainly 10 children. Yeshlem Simon Acher. And there's another Siddur, Shesad Rifiyach Chamim Bagdolim, Golim Tzireim. I don't know what the simon is. There is a son of simon. Yesh Kabbalah Shemaskish B'Sem B'Sim Perak Klomar Meseches Holilo. I don't think. I'm not sure he's saying there's a simon about them, but they are a simon. I'm not sure what he means here. Yeshem simon Achso Piachom Agdolim, Glim Tzireim. I don't know what the simon is referring to. I don't know. It sounds like there's a separate simon which he's not mentioning for some reason. In any event, V'Amru, they said.
Maybe you're talking about. All right, go ahead. Amru.
Yeshbo Kabbalah. There's a Messiah that mentioning these names will work. Rasia Shikha. When it brings on the siyum Masechta and the end of Masechtas, it says in some Masechtas, V'yor Shikha. In other words, it says V'yor Zikara. It means the same thing. It was effective against forgetting or effective for remembering. So for some reason, mentioning all these 10 children of the various different papas is effective to help preserve one's memory. Okay. Therefore, every time a person learns a parak and reviews it, can be as the regular Rabbanon, like the custom which the rabbis say, they that they say Nahadar, right? Hadar, right? We say we're going to repeat it, and he says here, parak really means Mesefes. And his man we learned that Rosh Hashanah was said Afas b'Chodesh Elul, which is the time the Kala. Achar kol echad yeshu chodesh Mesechus Chodesh Adar. They were called Mesechta, I guess, in detail into Chodesh Adar. Chodesh Adar shuv lo nifnei Aram Mesechus Aferes. Achar kol echad yoshev b'Chodesh Elul, and then he would review it at Chodesh Elul. Kshiramda Mesechus Shlema Chodesh Elul, they call Pirkei D'Rav Ploni. The Shem the Mesechus Shlema Chodesh Elul, they call Pirkei D'Rav Ploni. This is called the parak they learned from so and so rabbi. Kashkan Tuve B'Shaska and Rosh Hashanah Chavdam Beis Pirkei the Rabbi Shmili. Again, Pirkei Rabbi Yaakov Shmili. Kain Rabbi. I feel like you call them Mesechus parak. Called parak because it was what they derived and learned the chapter learned the portion they learned from their rabbi. Okay, so going back to text, it's like he says here. Mar Allah we should repeat it. Hadrach, we're gonna repeat it. Omar Chakras Simon. And then he says this Simon. So here's the Simon. This is the Simon he's referring to. Chanina Ramu Namar Achui Abba D'Bave. The Ape Rikshay Sarave Adulabe Doro. I have no idea what that means. Hopefully it translates it. Chanina Adam Shishmo Kach. Ramle Nama Zark Lo Lechem. Who tossed the bread. La Chui Abba D'Bave. La Chi Aviv. To his uncle. She has to know we hate it. The Ape Rikshay, also Mitkil Adam Shishmo Riksha. He initially break the first name was Rikshay. Sir Have. So that his brother refused to take the bread from him. And he said it, threw it to the house of Doro. So that's all the sinner for the 10 sons. Rav Pappa, is when it's Rama is Rain Bar Papa. Nachman Bar Papa is Nama, right? No, first you have Chanina, right? Chanina Bar Papa, that's Chanina. Rami Bar Papa, that's Rama. Nama is Nachman Papa. Achui is Achui Bar Papa. Abba is Abba Bar Mar Brother Rav Papa, which we just say Abba Bar Papa, which is the actual son of Rav Papa. Uh, the Apiel, the Rikshe, or is Rafram? The Bave? I don't know where Rafram.
Rafe is Rafram.
Somehow.
Rikshe is Rachish. Sarhave is Surchav.
Yeah.
Ada is Ada. And Lebeidar was Daru.
There is Dara. Okay, now he says something at the bottom here. Shamati mi mori Rav Zatzal, kizeh semi yeshmo Ramazan. Oh, thank you. Ramazan Rapi Sok. You misaper binyana dibitar shloma to Adam. It has to do with the dibitar a person learns. Came mishulim lechem, they're like bread. K'chsiv l'chulach mubalach meat. Kam lechem l'shon milchat l'shoter, the water. No, war is called milchama because most wars are fought for bread. I think we mentioned that in the past. Do you recall that? Milchamas are milchamas because they're fought for lechem.
Okay.
Okay. V'asitra acho shu mashal achi aviv. It's now getting a mashal here. So he baked the bread, which means milcham shel Torah. And the sitra achra is l'achi aviv. So he baked it for the sitra achra, which is his uncle. Ki ach li'etz tov. It's a brother to the Yetzer Tov. V'so shel many hate you. U'bakish lamiso. He wants to kill him and take away from Divrei Torah. Says Sitra achra not to be also Divrei Torah. He wants to get sustained with the Divrei Torah. Shalom Adam, which a person learns, Aridam Laklipos, taking down to the husks by causing to sin. Like Gesha Sitra Achra, the Slavish Divrei Torah by Sitra Achra enveloping himself and clothing himself with the Torah, the Yorik Mehem and nursing from them, Muradim Laklipos, and taking them down to the husks, to the Tumah. And there's a Bashikol on them, because this forgetfulness comes to a person. So that he forgets his learning. So therefore we make the shua, we make the Sitra take a shua. We compel him to take an oath. He refuse to take the bread. He should not derive nourishment from that learning. Plus from his hands. And he can't harkish. I don't want to spend any more time discussing this. Rak Yishma Chacham the Yosef Lekach. You figure out the rest of the muscle. Therefore, as we did it, but we'll say it again. Rav Pappa, Ramalei, Rav Pappa, Nam and Ach Pappa, Lechoy Achad, Lechoy Rav Pappa, Abba Mori, was Abba Mori Rav Pappa. The Afye, Rafram, Afye is Rafram Papa. Not Babe, Afye. That's because they pay. Rav Shay, Rav Papa, Sarev, Bay Surah Papa, others, Abba Bay Doro Papa. Okay. Fine. Mekame could be Rav Papa. So we didn't really explain why we say him. Right? He just brought down the simon. According to the commentary here, the simon is the main thing. The simon is the somehow we're saying that I guess we're going back to the simon again. Chanina, the one who underwent mercy, baked bread, Torah, etc., etc. Okay. Anyway, so when Mekame Kula Meir Papa, is about to say Nada Ma'ala. We don't say the two words. Nada Ma'ala. You should repeat. I guess they said it to the Rebbe. The Rebbe should result him to repeat it in the cycle. Right? In other words, you just taught it to us. Maybe Zohar teach this again. We will repeat it. It makes more sense. Now they say, we say Lotishne Minach, we understand it to mean that we should, the Torah should not forget us. But the way he's saying it really means the Rebbe should not forget us.
Oh,
Okay, I think that's what he's,
Mhm.
according to this interpretation, not a Ma'ariah addressing the Rebbe, not the Torah, right? Daitach Hayam, but Daitach Hayach, right? We're saying the Torah's das is on us, and our das on the Torah, but I think the way he's saying it, the Rebbe's das is on us, and our das is on the Rebbe.
okay.
Let's name Enoch, and shouldn't be got for us, nor from you. Lo ba'amadei, lo ba'amadasi. Shlosh zimnin, Yotzon v'nech Hashem Elokeinu, say it 3 times. Zamenech Hashem Elokeinu shedei Toraschem imonu lo mazeh, no teacher mipina lo mabah, which is a much shorter siyum than one we say. Okay, that is the end of the sefer. Mazel tov.
Mazel
Let's
tov.
siyum.
All right, shkach.
Okay,
Next week we have Bar Mitzvah to go to, so we might have to learn earlier if possible.
okay. You remind me again the choices which you had. All right.
All right, shkach.
Okay, shkach.
This was worthwhile.
Yes, it was good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good idea.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.